Okay, well, my early days before becoming and after becoming a disciple. I remember as a child, my mother was sitting in front of me, and I said I can beat God up at any time. Wow. How would one suspect that with those words, one could eventually become so-called spiritual as I turned out to be? But it did. Something very unusual took place. I became very spiritual. I wanted to know the Supreme Being. I didn't call him the Supreme Being in the very beginning. It was only after I met my teacher, Sri Chinmoy. He taught me the word supreme to represent that which I was crying for all along. In the very early days, I had been studying, observing the world. I must have not been more than 31, 32 years of age when I suddenly felt that this world was not for me. The inhumanity that I was seeing expressed amongst my fellow beings, not only locally, but around the world, did not impress me one bit to stay on earth any longer than I had to. In fact, I was ready to leave right away. It was only at that time that I suddenly felt, while sitting down in my home, crying to the Supreme, that I wanted out. And suddenly I felt a tremendous heat coming from my top of my head to the soles of my feet, with the words that said, in 3 days' time, something very nice is going to happen to you. I dried my tears, forgot all about it, and in 3 days' time, I strangely met my guru. It's a little vague to me right now how it all happened, but yes, I did meet my guru. And I was with my mother at the time, and somehow I forget exactly the actual circumstances under which I met Guru. I vaguely remember that I was at New York University and I saw him giving a lecture on the Bhagavad Gita, which I had just finished reading a couple days before. After reading the Bhagavad Gita, I felt a tremendous satisfaction that covered my being, because In the Bhagavad Gita, it suddenly revealed that one could know the Supreme Being if he had the right teacher. And for some strange reason, that put tremendous faith back into my heart for humanity. If I could find that teacher, then perhaps I might consider wanting to remain on Earth. One day, I found that teacher. And he was none other than Sri Chinmoy. I was at Columbia University after seeing a poster of him while studying engineering at City College. And I decided to run and go see him. I suddenly realized that I had seen Guru about 6 months before and was totally unimpressed. But on this occasion, upon seeing Guru for the second time, he completely blew me out of the water. I was totally overcome with this tremendous amount of inner light that put me in a state of consciousness that I could just have remained for the rest of my life. And there I stayed while Guru was giving his lecture at Columbia University. And I suddenly felt this feeling. Open your eyes, fold your hands, and bow. I had my eyes closed all this time while I was in this high state of meditation that I got thrown into. And Guru's walking up the aisle, finishing his lecture. He's about ready to exit the auditorium, and I'm still there in this state of consciousness. And I opened my eyes and did exactly what I was inwardly told to do. And Guru was no more than about 2 feet away from me. And then I went right back into meditation. He left the room, the auditorium that is, and outside there was another disciple there. And he said to him, go and see that young man who is sitting in the chair. I think something very nice can happen. Words to that effect. So the disciple left, he saw me, and we walked outside to see Guru. And at that point in time, we had some kind of little conversation, the three of us. And the rest is history.